All right, so 12 divided by a quarter squared. Again, we got to think about PEMDAS, the order of operations. We got to do parentheses, then exponents, then multiply or divide from left to right, then add or subtract from left to right, right? So parentheses, I see parentheses there. And inside parentheses, we see a quarter. Should be in a parentheses. There's a quarter. But there's nothing to do with that quarter. There's no operation. There's no adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing. So parentheses is done basically. Now, do we have exponents?
Yes.
We do. And it's a squared on a quarter. So how do we do that?
You do 1/4 divided by 1/4.
No.
Or times.
Yes, 1/4 times 1/4. So write that out, 1/4 times 1/4, right? Now, how do you multiply fractions?
Times the two top numbers.
Yep.
And the bottom two numbers together.
Yep. Times the top, 1 times 1 is 1, and then multiply the bottoms. A quarter times a quarter is
1/16.
16. And if you don't believe me on that, here's a whole, let's see, what am I going to call this? This is an entire lawn, a square lawn, okay? And I'm going to put some things in. This is a quarter of the lawn, this black part here, right? Okay, but I want to put like some fancy stones or something into a quarter of the quarter. So a quarter of a quarter is, take this quarter and divide that into 4, right? And so my little stones for the lawn are going here. Now, can you see how I got a quarter of a quarter? That's 1/4 of 1/4. Do you see that that's 1/16? Oh, you can't see that. Can you see that that red is actually 1/16? Does that make sense? Because like this is the whole lawn. Each one of these is a quarter, right? But I split that into a quarter again and I got a 16th. Because look, if I did that with all of them, see? See that? All these little squares are 1/16. That little red square is a 16th of the whole thing, isn't it? Do you see that? How many little squares have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So that's a quarter of a quarter, makes a 16th. All right? Anyway. All right, so we end up with that, and it's 12 divided by 1/16. Right. So when you divide by a fraction, you multiply. Dividing by a 16th, you multiply by the reciprocal, 16 over 1. And turn the 12 into a fraction just for fun. What's 12 as a fraction? 12 over 1. 12 over 1 times 16 over 1. Right? Which is just 12 times 16. Same thing, right? And we can just multiply that. 2 times 6, 12. Carry 1. 2 times 1 is 2 and 1 is 3. Put down a 0. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. And add 1, 9, 2. Right? Oh. So 192. Right? And actually, do you know what 12 divided by? I'm gonna do this because I'm crazy. But 12 divided by 1/16 actually means something in real life as well, because it means if we had 12 of those squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can't help it. 10, 11. 12, that's 12 of those squares, okay? And we're asking how many 16ths So 12 divided by 1/16 is how many of these 16ths are contained in 12 big ones. So 1/16 is just that little corner there, right? How many of these little red squares are contained in 12? Well, there's 16 in each one, isn't there? Because there's 16 in this, there's 16 in this, there's 16 in this one, 16 in this one. There's 16 of these little red squares in each of these, right? And when I go 12 times 16, I get what?
12 times 16, 192.
192. We just did it. And that's what that means. 12 divided by 1/16 is how many 16ths, 1/16 are contained in 12? And the answer is 192. Because look, every whole number has 16 of them. 16 of these little squares, isn't it? And if I have 12 wholes, I get 192. So, anyway, so it does actually mean something. Although it doesn't seem like it. Until